Cinema at AMC Prime.
Sorry.
Alright guys, I did see Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, or as I like to call it better, Star Wars Rogue One. But let's go by the real title, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. So just in time, I got a Star Wars The Force Awakens sweater for it. Look at this beauty, it's beautiful. I like it a lot. But anyways, yes, I saw Rogue One in Dolby Cinema at AMC Prime. I'll talk about that in a second, or after I'm done reviewing this film. So let's just head right into my review. So I'm just gonna get to the plot real fast because we should all know this plot, especially if you've seen A New Hope. It's basically kind of in the opening crawl, but you get an idea of what it is with the beginning of A New Hope. So it's a prequel. We basically get to know how the plans for the Death Star were stolen, and we have Jyn, who basically joins forces with some resistance fighters to basically steal the Death Star's plans. And you know, I'm sure you know the story from here. I just already want to get talking about this movie because I'm just itching to talk about this movie. Let me just say that this movie takes place basically after episode 3 but before episode 4, so it just kind of fits in between there. But let's get right into the plot, or what I think about the plot. I think that the plot is the Star Wars movie that should have been made a long time ago. This movie, the plot to this movie, I think, what would we do without Rogue One? We wouldn't really know what exactly happened before A New Hope. And I'm glad this movie exists because it just gives you more of a background to where the Death Star came from, or what it is. And I'm just glad that this is even a movie. This movie has a great script, but I will admit that there are some jokes in this movie that feel kind of forced into the script, but overall it doesn't ruin much of the movie for me. I just say I love Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso. I think that she really brings the character to life in terms of how she plays this character and how this character should be. She is the badass female lead that we got basically in The Force Awakens last year with Rey, but I really like her in this movie, and she's definitely both badass, smart, and I just love her character so much in this movie. Diego Luna as that one captain in that movie, I forgot his name, but I think that he also does a fantastic job in both his acting and in his character. I think he's probably my favorite character in this movie personally, and he was just such a good addition to this movie. Donnie Yen was also really good in this movie. He's just one of those also badass characters that you really like in this movie. And also that one engineer guy, I forgot his name, and who plays him in this movie, but I also really liked them. I'll get to my problem in a second with these new characters in a second. But we also have Forrest Whitaker as another character in the movie that I can't remember the name of. Honestly, Forrest Whitaker just kind of felt wasted into this movie, because he when you get a big name like him, you want him to be in at least 20 minutes of the movie, and he was only really in about 5 minutes of the movie. But I do like his character, but he just wasn't in the movie long enough for me to really like him as a character. In fact, I'm not sure if I could count him as a big character as I wish I could have. But he's a good character with just very small screen time. Of course, Ben Mendelsohn as the villain in this movie he was a fantastic villain. I thought that he was kind of threatening sometimes. He there's something about him being the villain that just kind of gives you chills down your spine, and I really liked him as the villain. It's got Alan Tudyk, who voices I got his name right here, K2SO, who is basically the kind of the R2D2 BB-8 droid into this movie. Honestly, I did not like him as much as I did with R2D2 and BB-8. But he's a good droid. He could be kind of an asshole sometimes, but that's what kind of makes him funny and unique. But he was he's a fun droid to one of the funnest droids in Star Wars. Let's just leave it at that. Biggest flaw with this movie is the way that the characters are introduced. Jyn Erso is introduced well into this movie, but other characters like Diego Luna's character and Donnie Yen and all these characters, they're all very introduced very quickly, and it just feels like you're trying to introduce them well, but you just give them like 2 minutes to introduce them. And I know Suicide Squad did the same thing this summer, but one thing that really made it work in Suicide Squad is that we got almost enough depth and background into these characters with the limit of 2 to 3 minutes of DC introducing these characters into the movie. But the thing is that we already know a lot about these characters. But for the characters in this movie, not a lot of us know these characters that much. And they just introduced them fairly quick, and they just wanted to get straight into the point. I just wish they could have just taken a little bit more time and introduced them better. Let's talk about that third act. That third act, man, it's fantastic. It's definitely the best part of the movie, and it's definitely something that you shouldn't miss. The third act is fantastic. So, other than that, I'm going to rate this movie. I kind of wanted to, walking into this movie, I wanted it to be like The Force Awakens, where I could give it a 10 out of 10. But sadly, it did have the problem with the characters, and also don't be expecting much Darth Vader from this movie. He's really only in like also 5 minutes of the movie, but let me just say, the ending, I'm not gonna spoil it, don't worry, but he there's a scene with Darth Vader in the ending. It's just fantastic. Another scene you definitely shouldn't miss. But it's a good movie. Of course it's flawed, very good actually. I'm going to say it could, if they could take more time to introduce the characters, it could have gotten my highest rating. But because of that, I'm going to give it full price worthy, which is my second highest rating. So out of 10, I'd say a 8.5 out of 10, which rounds up to an A minus, but full price worthy. But if there's one way you have to experience this movie, it's definitely in the Dolby Cinema at AMC Prime. It's definitely the way to experience that movie, because definitely with the Darth Vader scenes where Darth Vader's using the Force, the seats vibrate like crazy, and the scenes with the pods and all that, they also all vibrate, and it's just a very believable experience with the Dolby Atmos surround sound. So definitely watch this movie in Dolby Atmos, Dolby Cinema at AMC Prime, and that's why I'm gonna say that Dolby Cinema at AMC Prime is worth it. Anyways, have you guys seen this movie? If you've seen it, please leave your thoughts down below. Tell me what you think about it. More movie days coming up soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.